Hey everybody, I'm back now from my trip with the Church Collective, and I had one question for everyone, and that is, what do they actually want from a church bass player? Check it out.
I'm Ralphie Silvera, worship pastor at New Hope, Gilroy. One thing that I love that bass players do in church is make the stage rumble.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, love it. I love feeling that stage pump under me. I think play more confidently and do more of what they would want to do. I think sometimes bass players, or not even just bass players, musicians period, kind of get caught up in exactly what the track is playing or exactly what was recorded. And I love when I hear a bass player bring their own style to the track. So it's one thing to be faithful to what's been recorded. It's another thing when, and it adds a whole different dynamic when you hear the styles, the different styles of different bass players. So I have two bass players in rotation on my team right now. I love them both. They are both very skilled and very fantastic at what they do, but they each have this flavor that they bring. So one is a little bit more out of the pocket and does runs and things like that. The other one does less runs, but he still has his own flavor. So I love it when bass players sprinkle a little bit of themselves on there.
Awesome. What is one thing that you hate when bass players do? What's like a bass sin?
A bass... Use a pick.
Huh?
Use a pick.
Use a pick? Okay,
Use a pick.
I like
Yeah,
that.
my audio guy would beg to differ though.
Oh,
he loves
shoot.
when bass players use picks. I like it when bass players use their hands.
I like that. You know, not many people pick a side.
I wanna feel that fifth string.
I like it.
I want to feel that fifth string. So I think sometimes, if you ever listen to a recording, or if you ever hear things, a lot of times they're recording like up high, you know, and they kind of get in there. I like it when they get into that fifth string and things just open up. Again, I just want to feel the bass. The bass is meant to be felt.
Hey, I'm Blake with the Church Collective. I'm here as one of the guitar clinicians, and what do I look for in a bass player? So I'm going to use my dumb food analogy I always use. A cake with icing. In a bass player, I'm looking for the cake to be what wows me. And I'm looking for the icing to be little things that just subtly spice it up to the next notch a little bit. I'm not looking for a pan full of icing and a little bit of substance. I want a lot of substance. I want the bass player to be holding it down, locking the root, the rhythm down, but a little icing every now and then.
What's going on, everybody? My name is AJ Rucker, and I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. Serve at a church there as the band director. One of the biggest things, the questions we get asked a lot has been like, what do I like? What do I like as far as a bass player is concerned? I lead worship most of the time on the weekend, but my first love is drums. So I'm at the Church Collective right now, and I'm actually playing drums for this event. My biggest thing, man, I'm letting you know, is I like people who don't even have to wow me to be so good. Like, I like the super tight to where when I'm grooving, they can instantly just lock in with me. Because the biggest thing I think we have to understand is that we don't need another feel for something to be exciting. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need another cool bass run. We don't need another riff that's not in the song for it to be great. We need somebody who's locked into that click, because if we're locked in, we're complimenting the music more than if we were just doing our own thing in our own world. So I think what I need from a bass player is consistency. Every week, is this guy coming in prepared? Because if he's coming in prepared, then that means, first of all, I've done a good job. I've resourced this person in a way that, man, this bass player knows exactly what he's gonna do, because then what happens is, as he's prepared, he then has more opportunity, he or she has more opportunity to be more creative within a set, be more creative within a song. I know we get bored sometimes playing, and sections of songs, oh, here we go, 4-1-6-5 again. We get very bogged down in that, and I think that if we are over prepared almost, then we can come in and be more creative. So as a bass player, man, I'm looking for somebody who's locked in with me, but then also understands once they're locked in, they know their limits. You know, we can sometimes be too creative, and then it gets boring. You're like, man, you're playing the same thing, but like you're all over the place. You know what I mean? So locked into that clip, locked into me, but then also over prepared in a way to where creativity can be bred from that. So that's what I'm looking for.
Hey there, I'm Ryan from Shelter Cove Community Church in Modesto, California. I'm the experienced pastor, but I also oversee the worship. And man, biggest thing I need from all of my musicians is to basically make sure that they're playing what they hear on the recordings, that they're looking at the charts, that they're prepared, that they're doing what they need. Bass for me is really important to just kind of hold the backbone of the team together. We talk about the pocket often with our drummer. So basically keeping the rhythm cohesive with the drummer, maybe the acoustic guitar player. And at the end of the day, if they're going to do something that's maybe different than the recordings that we give them, just a little conversation, or at least a heads up on me. A lot of times what they bring is great. I just want to be aware of it, because sometimes a riff can come out of nowhere and our whole team's like, what was that? In a good way often, but sometimes bad. In general though, yeah, just bring let people know if you're going to go off script, basically.
Hey, my name is Nate Parrish, lead worship at Resurrection Church in Bakersfield, and what do I want from a bass player? Man, I want what everybody wants, just slap it a bass, dude. No, actually, I think what I love in a certain bass players I've played with is it's a balance, right? There's a dynamics. So a lot of times, I'm a guitar player, so when I play bass, it's like I'm playing, 4-string guitar, and it's really hard to just settle in on a groove and sort of make a pocket, because what you're doing is you're just providing a foundation for other instruments on top of that. So just having a discipline, and then dynamics where as the song progresses, like being aware of, if you have a 5th string, maybe you don't use that until the big part of the bridge or something like that. You don't give too much away at the beginning. And then the other thing is energy. I know a lot of times with a bass player, I've played bass a bunch. You kind of sit in the back and you're like, oh, I could just kind of whatever. But man, I want a bass player to be very energetic, and as if he's on the front line, if he's not, and really help set tempo with his or her physical presence. Like, I want to look back and see my bass player just rocking it. So yeah, I would say dynamics, balance, and energy.
Hey, this is Sean. I'm here at the Church Collective from Faith Promise Church. I'm actually leading in worship this weekend and get to teach a couple of breakouts on team building and leading effective rehearsals. But what I want from a bass player, let's talk about that. So I'm always looking for a bass player that stays in the pocket. So what that means is being very locked in with click track if you use it, but also very locked in with your drummer. So somebody who is kind of holding the foundation of what's going on stage. Not playing a ton of runs and licks and stuff all the time. Find space where that's appropriate, but really just kind of holding the foundation with the drummer as the two kind of main rhythm pieces. So that's what I look for in a bass player.
Thanks for watching, and if you want more of my content, please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and please go follow everybody that took the time to give me an answer, because being put on the spot is hard like that. Thanks again.